Okay, here we go again. So we've got another one. We've got spend for 64. I modelled an old Pokeball. Let's have a look. Make it big. Okay, great use of subtle textures and stuff that you've got along here. I love that wood texture and how it's curved. I like how you've used the normal map too. And the nice little like soldering parts. I would maybe just consider adding a bit more reflection, or maybe like more rust or something if this is an old Pokeball, on the metal. Also adding in a thing just at the back, like a little hinge, just to give it a bit more realism and stuff too. I feel like you could have a few more little imperfections around like the joins of the red, and maybe even on the wood, but I think the wood's fine as it is. And yeah, like adding in just maybe some slight bloom, possibly, if you haven't already. It's looking really good. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. That's awesome. Good job. Hopefully those little things help though. Alright, we've got Silent Style 6476. First sculpt in Blender. I've gone a long way to go drop some critics. I think that's what it says. I've got a long way to go. Oh yeah, I've got a long way to go. Drop some critics. Alright. Okay. So, composition wise, it's pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that. Like, in terms of all the elements that you've got in here. I like the use of slight bloom that you've got. I like the lighting. Maybe just adjusting the lighting slightly so it so the chin isn't too much of a focus compared to the rest of the face. I like the hair that you've got. Maybe just look into a few more details about how to adjust the hair. Look into a rim light as well, especially to capture so a rim light being a light behind the person that's quite bright, just to capture the slight edge around the model. See, as here, I would say they've got another shoulder here and it's just falling into the background. And just like, yeah, I'm not going to be too harsh on your sculpting, but you know, like you could always just refine this a little bit more with details and stuff, looking into why there's that little bump there, just thinking a bit more consciously of that. But so far, yeah, it's great. And I do like these headphones. Maybe you could just add a bit more of a bevel around the edges here, just so that it captures the light a little bit more. And I'd just be maybe upping the resolution of your render a little bit more so it's not as splotchy. And yeah, like you'll get better at the other stuff in time, but yeah, nice work. Alright, good job. We've got Andy, just Andy. Bit of hard surface practice. Any ideas on how I can make better designs? Okay, so if we're just talking about designs, because composition and texturing, this seems to be pretty okay, and modeling. So we've got a nice bit of bloom. I would say that when I see this, I think of two major things. There's color, and then there's the basic modeled elements. So in terms of color, you've got like three major things here. You've got the bright lights, the blue, and then the grey. So I'd be looking into different things like blacks, oranges, reds, greens, you know, all those different sort of things. You can easily look up some reference materials, reference images, and just copy their color schemes. I'd be looking into complementary colors, triads, and stuff like that on the color wheels, just to look into those. I'd be also looking into then in terms of modeling, and I think you just need to adjust some of these textures a little bit more. So maybe adding some like rust and stuff on these greys, adding a bit more reflectivity and stuff on this metal, and then just looking into how you've built this blue design, because and I would go into post-production then, like post-processing, and say heighten the saturation and the contrast sort of stuff using curves. But in terms of the modeling stuff then, so we've got this top section, this front section, and then this side section. So if we think of this top design, maybe you could have like bolts rather than the indents. You could add in like a light on the top bit or something like that. For this front thing, we could have different layout of lights. So maybe you might want to have 3 different lights down the middle, or like 2 long lights, lights that are like semicircles, different things like that. And then for this design here, maybe you want to think contextually about why the elements are here. So maybe this is like a little place where you slot in the piece. So you might have like a broken version or a thicker version for like an older model, or a more new version. You could add little rust marks or like scratches along here as if it's been like inserted into something like that. Those are the sort of things that I'd be thinking about when I'm looking at this piece. Hopefully that helps. Okay, we've got Ike of Newt. Landscape still looks like it made out of clay, but I'm improving. Criticism needed. Okay, so it's quite dark. First of all, I'd just be heightening the light a little bit more, and maybe considering using 2 lights. So if we've got one slightly yellow light coming down this way, add another one maybe on a more flat angle, maybe that doesn't give shadows, and just a slight blue, just to give a bit more depth to it. Now I do see the repeating pattern of the 2 sort of folded leaves quite consistently through this, so I'd be like looking into adjusting the angle of the model so that that isn't as predominant consistently through everything, and adjusting the size a bit more drastically so that there's quite larger lumps consistently around. And I would just be adding a texture along this dirt, maybe painting it on with both like a darker muddier dirt and then like a lighter sandier dirt just to go along, and then I would be adding a normal map on that to add a little bit more detail to everything. Consider also actually making other plants like you have here, but maybe ones that are more focal points. So it's as if you've got the middle and the small version where we need another big version too. As if like this is the small version and then this is the medium one. Maybe just adding like a large bush or something, or like a larger leafed plant, or even like if we go away from plants and think of rocks or maybe a major object, because at the moment this has no real focal point except for maybe this dirt sort of look here. But now I'm getting sidetracked into thinking of it artistically rather than just the clay and grass, but hopefully that helps. Alright, we've got Janna the James 99. This just in, Amedia has hit the monkey pedestal. He's looking for some feedback. You said it there, so I'm going to give you feedback. Okay, so I would be looking at, you've probably got maybe two polygons over one another, maybe to cause this flickering, or it's a strange texture. I'm not exactly sure, but also I'd just be looking into blurring, like using an area light to light this a little bit more, so it's got softer shadows and stuff too. Maybe changing the color of the background to be black so that the monkey silhouette can be shown a bit more. Maybe use smooth shading on this, adding a bit of VFX of like smoke or flames, but I'm sure that maybe this is stuff that you're still looking into. And when it smashes, maybe trying to get a bit more of a localized smash down the bottom here and having large chunks up the top here. But I think that again, that's going to be stuff that you'll be looking into in the future. Add a bit more of a motion blur to it. Add a bit more bloom too, so that the light captures it a bit more, and use a slightly colored light, maybe of yellow, to give it a bit more of a natural look. And camera work is pretty nice, I would say, at the moment. You're doing good, man. You're doing real good. Alright, hopefully that helps. And then we've got AEX2. Thanks to people here, I'm starting to feel confident with lighting, but still, what do you guys think of it? So you've gotten 2 images here. Let's just look at this first one. Definitely lighting consistently in both of them is really good. I would just be considering about the background color that you use, to maybe use a complementary color or just a different color, so that the green stands out a little bit more, as it looks like this. It's a bit too much green at the moment, but that's sort of just me. It depends on where you're wanting to go with it. And I would just be considering the level of detail that your texture has, and then maybe even looking into a normal map, but only very small, so that the reflections and specular stuff can capture the detail a little bit more. But that's pretty good on that one. Oh yeah, a little bit of a flaw there with one of your polygons, maybe just looking into those little extra details. And then for this one, I'm really happy with this one. I like the slight texture. Maybe it's because of the level of resolution in your lights, but I don't think so. It's just, it does give it a bit more of a handmade feel to it. It could be the resolution in your lights, so just look into that. I like the bevel and stuff that you've got. The only thing that's really bothering me in this picture, because I would say your composition's pretty good, maybe you could cut the top and bottom off just slightly, but is this on this G here, how it really captures that light there. Trying to make that a bit more obvious consistently through the design, so it ties everything up at the moment, because this part stands out. And so I'd just be looking at the angle of the light, maybe the spread or whatever, or even looking into just removing that light if it doesn't make much of a difference other than that section there. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Thanks. Alright, we got Kwanzaa, the start of the trophy truck model. Need feedback. Okay, so we've just got a tire. So I'm going to look into the individual elements real quick. So we've got some nice textures, nice, quite clean modeling. This is a bit of a weird thing going on here, so I'd just be looking into, you could like blur that in the post, but just looking into why that came about. Nice depth of field. Okay, into the next part. Again, nice modeling, makes it really look like it was handmade. It is hard to spot some of the details in this because it's so natural too. Like it's quite well modeled, but also it looks the type of model that it is, you can hide this sort of stuff well in it. Okay, that image looks pretty good. Like the only things that are getting me is the little corners here, how they feel sort of like they're off, but I can't assume anything because it's as if that could just be the tire itself. Also maybe just having a bit more of a consistent thickness with these, if that's the tire that you're going for, because it's sort of like it's consistent in some pictures but then not in others. Just something to look into. Okay, lovely little scratches that you've got going on there. maybe just consider smoothing out this part here, because I think that, yeah, it's smooth up to a point, and so it'd just be I think, yeah, checking into the angle of smoothing. Alright, so overall, really good model. I would just, yeah, look into a bit more of the smoothing on some of these little sections here. It's sort of hard to fault in a sense, because there's, yeah, it looks quite natural and stuff what you've been doing. Alright, next person. So we've got Fivewire. Start your engine, work in progress. Comments and feedback welcome. Okay, let's have a look. So I've got nice bloom, nice like depth of field, nice effects. I'd say generally pretty good composition in the camera, and a good lighting, colors, good sense of pacing within the animation. Okay, so then it goes up with that thing. Alright, let's have a proper look. And yep, good textures. Some of the texturing could be adjusted slightly because they look like a little bit blurry and stuff too, so just tightening the resolution. If we go back, yeah, like you'll get better at animating the human, but I would say things like on their hair where it's starting to clip through itself, and then just some slight muck-ups with the cloth dynamics, so just looking into maybe hand animating that or rebuilding that. And good hand movements. Yeah, so I'll just be looking into their hair probably a whole lot more, but that's pretty good. Good job. That's hopefully that helps. There wasn't heaps of stuff there, but hopefully it helps. Alright, we've got Snoo 51702. Aoba Suzukaze 3D render. How to make it look more anime-like. Alright, let's open it up. So it's pretty much, it does look anime, but I would maybe thicken the lines just a little bit more. I would maybe oh yeah, I'd heighten the saturation maybe of everything but the shoes and the eyes. But yeah, I would say that the outlines especially is going to be the thing that makes it stand out the most in terms of anime style. And adjusting the shape of the hands a little bit more so they're a bit more stylized rather than a bit thick right in where the actual hand is. But that's just looking into anatomy. As well as adding highlights too. Adding some nice like stylized highlights will really give it a cool like cartoony feel. Adding in the slight dot just below the knee will really emphasize the knee shape. And start putting in some sort of shadow or something on the ground there. I think just adding, because you've got some shading on, like shadow on the hair and highlights on the eyes, so just consider that now for the other elements in the picture. Hopefully that helps. Cheers. Alright, I got Lord Lucario 27. Here's my finished building. Smiley face. Okay, so we've got this. We've got like, I would say the low poly look. I would look into putting this on the ground so that you can see a shadow for the piece, and using maybe a slightly colored light just to connect everything up together a bit more. Possibly even using oh yeah, I think you've got two lights going on, but yeah, using one light that's one color and then another colored light just to give it a bit more volume, like a bit more shape. And I would look into different color variations. So we've got a few major colors in this. We've got the yellow, the sort of pinky salmon color, the red, and the gray, as well as those sort of browns and darks and stuff too. But I'd just be looking into maybe some different reference pictures to look into the coloring and stuff that you've got, or like the different types of things. Look into stuff like the triads and complementary colors on color wheels, and see what can happen. In terms of composition, I would give a little bit more breathing room up the top of the building and a little bit down the bottom, as well as cropping this. Doesn't need to be right in the middle, but just maybe just slightly to the side, so that there's a bit more breathing room on the face of this building. But because this has got that isometric look, you could have it right in the middle and it could still look quite interesting. Maybe even adding in some details on these pillars around the edge here, just some like brickwork, and or something like that. But yeah, cool. No, all right, that's everybody. Hopefully that helps everyone. See you next time. Bye.